Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm doing a video explaining how I personally trade prop firms and kind of how I size into my trades and how I trade them all differently. So let's get into it. So let's start off with across all firms. Let's start with evals, right? Eval trading. So with evals, what is ultimately the goal, right? With evals, you are looking to minimize your time in this stage, and you're not trying to blow the accounts, but you're trying to pass them quick so that you can move to funded. So for me, my rules are usually I'm sizing between one to three minis, and because I don't want to waste my time. Why would I be trading micros if I'm eval trading? That's gonna take if I'm trading five micros, that's gonna take me freaking forever. It's gonna take me 300 points to pass an account, which is just way too much time. So one to three minis. And another rule, no partials. So let's say the trade is up I'll actually show you guys an example. So say this is the low. Let's say this is TP1. What would be TP1? What would be full TP? Okay, so let's say we trade into here. And now we go long down here. Stop loss below the lows. And I need a full TP to pass the account. Pass account here. Right? Or like if it's a consistency rule, let's say this is like $1,500 or 50%, right? If price hits this level, TP1, right? Why would I take partials there? This is an eval count. I'm not trying to secure profits and protect it. I'm trying to pass the account. So if price were to go to TP1 and we still have full TP up ahead, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna move my stop. So I'm gonna move my stop to break even. And now it's a free trade. So what could either happen is full TP, I pass the account, or nothing happens. I go break even. I feel like everyone should adopt this mindset. If you're already making some payouts and you're able to pass accounts, or you shouldn't be wasting your time in this stage, because ultimately the goal with prop firms is to move on to the funded and exploit that. So now I'm going to explain kind of how I trade funded accounts a little bit differently. So with funded accounts, so let's get into it right here. Funded accounts. And with funded accounts across various firms, there's different rules. So like Apex, I personally don't trade Apex, but how I would trade them is, actually, let's get rid of this. How I would trade them is because there's the trailing drawdown, right? I'm going to be aggressively scaling my, not scaling, aggressively taking profit and very light size. So with Apex, you need to make around like 4K per account in order to qualify for a payout. Some people are taking months to reach a payout, and that's kind of the style. It's not like Top Step or a TPT where you can kind of just like quickly get past the buffer, right? There's other rules like you can't drop down into 30% of your buffer and things of that nature. So with Apex, it really is a very slow grind. Light size. If you catch a winner, if you catch like a very, very big trade, like let's say you catch like 300 points, there is a consistency rule, I believe. But with time, let's say you're trading that account for 60 days, everything is gonna flatten out, and you're just gonna see a P&L curve that goes like this, right? Just like a gradually up. All right, you're not looking for one massive day to make your P&L because you're ultimately playing the game, the prop firm game. You're just trying to get that payout. So aggressively taking profit, very light size, and just overall very disciplined. Okay, now with let's actually copy this. Let's go TPT. So with TPT, how I play my TPT accounts is this. I I take one mini and or not one mini. I take 10 micros. 10 micros and I'm trailing my stop once I get to buffer. Or trail my stop until I get to buffer. Getting to buffer is the most important thing. So on a 50K account, 52K is buffer. And once you get above that, you can request any profit above 52K, you keep 80%. So I like to think of TPT as kind of like the income, right? TPT, usually I'm going for daily payouts and and I'm not trying to dip below the buffer. So again, I take 10 micros, I get to the trailing drawdown, so I get to 52K, so that's like around 100 points. And I'm not trying to let my buffer go down. So let's say I'm in a trade, right? Let's do this example. Here, here. Okay, let's say I enter a long position here, right? And I originally have like a 10-point stop, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter what exactly it is. So let's say my trade is now up, I don't know, it is up 50 points. Let's say 50 points. So I'm up 1,000 technically. I do not want to see my trade get hit break even because I'm gonna lose $1,000 worth of buffer if it goes break even. So what I like to do is I like to always trail it so that if I get hit break even, the maximum buffer I can lose is gonna be $500. Even if the trade is a win, right? Even if close trade at 50.5K, right? I made $500, but I was up 1,000 at one point. That means my buffer goes down by 500, and that's the maximum that you should allow. Because if you let it go less than that, let's say you're up 50 points and you let it come back down to zero, you have 1K buffer, and that is very hard to trade out of. Okay, so moving on from that, another thing that is very important is now let's say you're doing your first trade above the buffer. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take 10 micros above the buff above the buffer, 10 micros, and let's say I don't know. Let's say my trade is up 50 points. Let's use that as another example. So I'm up $1,000, right? And right here, okay. I'm up 50 points. And let's say I'm confident we're at TP1 and we still have a target above us. What I like to do is sometimes I'll average up into my position. So I'll move my average up. I'll move my average all the way up. I'll set a break even, but now I'll be in the trade for triple the size or double the size. So I like to average into trades so that like I can see so I can just leverage it, you know? If the worst thing that happens is I get hit back to break even and my account is back at 52K and then I do the same thing again. So I'm leveraging the fact that I can use more lots. And if I have very high conviction in the trade, like I basically just 3x the profit because I am averaging up and exploiting the leverage that they give you, right? Okay. And what I like to do with TPT is I'm almost never taking partials. So I use a lot of break even, right? I'm I start off small and then I average up into the trade. And with that, if you average up, that means your average position, like the price you bought at, right? It goes up, meaning it's going to be closer to what price is trading at now. So you're going to be closer to your stop loss, but in the event that price keeps going, you're really going to get rewarded for that. But with this, you're going to get hit break even a lot, and you can't tilt, you can't get upset because your trade hit break even because you could have made whatever X amount of money. You're playing the game, all right? And then let's get rid of this. Okay, let's move on to Top Step. So with Top Step, let's go right here. Top Step. So right now, I'm trading 5xFA, and with that, there's no daily payouts, right? So ultimately, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to make a gazillion dollars, right? Or are you trying to grind to that payout? So with 5 accounts, regardless of 50K, 100, 150K, max payout is going to be 5K per. So 25K per um per payout period, right? And with that, I'm not going to be going I'm not going to be averaging up crazy into my trades because the maximum I can make is 5K per account. So why would I risk, why would I do that same thing and try to keep going, try to keep making a lot of money if I can't withdraw it the same day? It's just unnecessary risk. And for me, it makes more sense to just, um, for me, it makes more sense to just like play the game and maybe have 2 or 3 big days and then flip the rest. So with Top Step, I'm gonna be sizing like 1 to 2 minis, and I will be taking partials. So because of the payout rules, you need 5 days of 150 bucks, right? I I never want to have, if I'm up on the day, right? If my trade is floating like 30, 40 points, my P&L should not cross below this 150. That is ultimately the goal each day. I want to protect my profit, so I'm less aggressive in terms of letting full position size run. So protect profit much as I can, working towards that max payout. So each trade you take, it should be a step closer to that payout. With TPT, right? You're gonna be able, you should be content with some days you're not gonna make anything. You're not gonna have a payout. You're not gonna have a withdrawal because you're going for you're going for big money or you're going for the break even. So that's why some days you're not gonna have a payout, even though it's a daily payout. The days you do, the days where you average up into the trade and you have that stop at break even, and the break even doesn't get tagged and it just keeps going up or keeps going down, you're really gonna get rewarded. So yeah, Top Step, less aggressive, but you're protecting profit and you're working towards that max payout. You should not have a big red day on Top Step because let's say your account balance is I don't know, 10K, 11K per account, right? Why the hell would you be like risking? Why would you even be sizing more than 1 mini or 10 micros? It just doesn't make sense, right? There's no benefit. Yes, you can make more buffer, you can make more profit, but that is coming at the risk of the payout that you're currently working for. So no more than one mini, and prioritizing payout. TPT, you're prioritizing just getting that one trade or a couple trades that just keep going and exploiting that. While Top Step, you're prioritizing the payout. I'm never gonna risk with the 11K account. Why? I mean, like, why would I full put, right? I want the money in my bank right away. So this is kind of how I like to think of and strategize in terms of my trading. I'm sure other people have different styles, but this is just what works for me, what makes sense to me, and how I like to think of it in terms of the prop firm rules. And yeah, if you guys were curious, like the cost of each firm, so TPT, they're running a sale, so for I think it's 40% off, no activation fee if you use code 80 if you would like to and support me. Um, I think a 50K account all in is gonna be $102, while Top Step, still a great firm, its 50K account all in is $200. So if you were to get max allocated on both firms, right? Max allocation is gonna be what, 510? Max allocation is 1,000. So this is just something to know and understand before you're buying accounts, right? Understand what you're getting into. Understand the style you should trade, right? You shouldn't be full porting with TPT, even if you have a winning trade. If it gets hit break even and you're full porting, bro, you just blew the account, right? So yeah, hope this helps you guys, and I'll see you guys Monday. Ciao.